week on The Review, Al Jazeera English's coverage of East Asia. We put your questions to the channel's South Korea-based correspondent, Harry Fawcett. ISIL and the Taliban. We talk to the filmmaker who risked his life investigating the rise of ISIL in Afghanistan. Hello and welcome to The Review, the show that goes behind the scenes at Al Jazeera and asks for your feedback about what you see here on the channel. East Asia is on the agenda this week. Why? Well, because it's not often in the spotlight at Al Jazeera, and judging from feedback we've been getting, some of you think the region deserves more attention. We decided to talk to the channel's Seoul-based correspondent, Harry Fawcett, and asked you what questions you'd like to pose. Kareem Kassam from the UK wrote, South Korea is a fascinating country. Is coverage a priority for Al Jazeera? Because I do not feel there is enough special focus on the country.
On the sort of larger point of Kareem's analysis, I totally agree with him. South Korea is a fascinating place. It does have huge interest in its technological leaps forward, its cultural output, and indeed its society is a very interesting one. Where I would differ, and perhaps not unexpectedly, is that I think we do really try and cover that to the largest degree we can, and I think we do a lot more of that kind of thing than some of the other international broadcasters. Obviously, you do have to recognize at the same time that the day job is often about North Korea. I think no one's under any illusion that this bureau was set up, in part at least, because we were interested in the North Korea story, so that does take up a fair amount of our time. And also as a channel, we probably have a bigger preponderance of reporters and a kind of editorial content and focus in Europe and the Middle East than Asia sometimes. But at the same time, we have a large network of bureaus out here, and we do try and push the stories that we find interesting living in these places as much as we can. And certainly I think we've done that to a large extent here from Seoul.
Elaine Chung from Brunei asked, does Harry think a reunited Korea could occur within his lifetime?
In terms of a longer term sort of march towards unification, people talk about that in this half of the Korean peninsula. They talk about it up north as well. But a lot of the younger people in this country especially don't have a huge amount of interest, because that would be an enormously expensive thing to happen for the South Korean economy. And certainly there's been no real indication of any sort of proper opening up in North Korea, which might lead to a sort of a longer term engagement, which could lead to a negotiated reunification. The thing that everybody talks about is a sudden collapse, and no one can really predict when that will happen. For now, Kim Jong-un looks pretty secure in his position at the top of the tree in Pyongyang.
We wanted to know if Harry has ever reported from inside North Korea.
No, we haven't managed to get into North Korea in our 3 years so far in the bureau in Seoul. It is a real frustration, because a lot of my North Korea reporting is from right here in this studio in Seoul. And so the best you can do really is talk to defectors, is talk to any number of analysts and experts, and get a feel for as many kind of different strands of opinion as you can, because there are all sorts of strands of opinion as to what's going on inside North Korea.
Thanks for that, Harry. Now, ISIL and the Taliban is a gripping documentary that kept many of us at the edge of our seats this week. It offers a very, and we mean very, close-up look at ISIL in Afghanistan and how the group has come into direct competition with the Taliban. Afghan filmmaker Najibullah Qureshi gained exclusive access to the central ISIL leadership in the country and spent 5 days with them. We asked him to tell us how he was able to gain that access and if he feared for his safety while filming. We also wanted to put to him the concerns of one viewer as to whether the Afghans who assisted Najibullah might now be in trouble.
I'm covering the war since 2001 for the world television, for the Western television. But before that, I was working for Afghan national TV. And while I was there, I established lots of good connections with all the groups in Afghanistan. So I know the area, I know the people, I know the groups, and I know how to approach. The first people I have to approach is elders. So I did the same. I approached to some elders, and I sent some elders over to ISIL leader in Afghanistan and asked them if they gave me permission to be film them. Then I was waiting for 8 months until the permission get through. Yes, while I was with them, I was really scared. And because of the people I saw, because of their reaction, then I thought I may not come back home again. I always care about my safety and my team's safety. So this is my priority. They're not in danger because we didn't go without permission. So they invited us over, and we didn't say anything from ours or our opinion or what we think. So we broadcast, we made the film from what we felt. So there is no point if their life should be in danger for now, I mean.
The film reveals scenes of very young children being taught to become fighters, which many viewers found disturbing. We asked Najibullah what he thought about this.
I was shocked to see the next generation of my country like this, what they are learning to. Instead of learning something good, they're learning how to kill people, how to use gun, how to use weapons, and what is jihad, who should we jihad against with, and such as these things. It was heartbreaking for me. It was, yes, as a journalist, as a filmmaker, I was excited to film these things to expose it. But as a human, I was really hearted to see such things.
Finally, we asked why it was important for him to make a film about ISIL in Afghanistan and what its involvement in the country might mean for the future.
Over 90% of the Afghan population are uneducated. So what should we expect from uneducated people? So they would listen to someone from Pakistan or from Saudi or from Iraq or from Syria. Whatever they say, they're saying, yes, he is right. And they follow their step because they don't have their own mind. ISIL is a group which they are everywhere in the Middle East and they're threatening the world. And now they went inside to Afghanistan. So I thought, let's make a film about their presence in Afghanistan to give them alert to the government or NATO forces saying that they are also here and they should do something about it. So now ISIL is there, and in my opinion, it would be very hard to defeat ISIL in Afghanistan.
Thanks, Najibullah. And if you haven't seen it, make sure to catch the film online on the Al Jazeera program page under the Special Series tab. That's it for this week. Don't forget that you can also reach us on Snapchat and Periscope, so follow us there. And remember that you can be featured here on The Review by sending in a video comment about something you've read or watched on Al Jazeera. See you next time.